Alrighty, welcome back everyone, it's Garland here bringing you another Neverwinter video, and today we are doing our third preview video for the upcoming Mod 14 Ravenloft. So in today's video I want to go over the campaign boons, the mounts, and then also I want to dive into some of the new event items that are coming out in the near future as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. First, we're going to talk about the boons for Mod 14. So let's go down here to Ravenloft. Ageless, which you could take 3 out of 3 of, was going to give you 1200 recovery. Vampiric Grace is going to be 1200 movement. Raven's Cunning is going to be 1200 control resist. Undying Death is going to be 15% damage versus undead. So this is going to be a situational boon because there are undead bosses in the game. So 15% DPS against undead. I can see a lot of people taking that, even people that are still doing Tomb of the Nine Gods and things like that. Deathly Defiance is 15% increased damage resistance versus undead. And then finally we have Hardened Bones, which is going to be a flat HP increase. 4,800 hit points. Now if they do the same thing with Mod 14 with what they did with Mod 12 and 13, then you can expect to be taking 2 of these. So most people are going to be taking Ageless for recovery and Hardened Bones for the HP. DPS might be taking, Undying Death as well as Hardened Bones. That all depends on what Mod 15 brings us. As far as Mod 14 goes, I could see most people going ahead and taking the 4,800 hit points. Some DPS might find it in their best interest to be taking the damage versus undead. Now, the top row, we have Bloodlust. Every critical hit against an enemy has a chance to add a stack. 10 stacks, you're going to gain 2,400 increased power for 10 seconds. The buff can only be applied once every 60 seconds. So it's not hard to get 10 stacks of this and you're going to have 2,400 power increase for 10 seconds. It's not horrible. It pretty much outweighs the other one, so I can see a lot of people taking this. Transfusion. Healing another player for 10% of their max HP gives a chance of applying a heal over time that will heal 5% of their HP every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. So, healing, a lot of people tend to believe that healing isn't really in Neverwinter, which is my philosophy on it. But hey, maybe you're in a lower end group and healing is keeping your group alive, then hey, if this fits into your niche build, then go for it. Hypnotic Gaze is going to be anytime you root, stun, hold, daze an enemy, you have a chance to increase the combat advantage damage of nearby allies for 5% for 10 seconds. This can only happen once every 60 seconds. This is going to be situational as well. Combat advantage has been broken off and on for the past few mods, so whether or not, combat advantage is currently working or it's not working, it's all going to be dependent if it's fixed. 5% damage increase for combat advantage, well yeah, that's, it's a nice chunk of damage. And then finally we have Righteous Sacrifice. Taking 10% or more of your max health and damage grants nearby allies 800 power for 5 seconds, and it stacks 5 times. So if you're a tank, a paladin, a GF that's going to be constantly getting hit anyway, then this is probably the boon you're going to end up taking. So that's going to complete the boons for Mod 14. Nothing super impressive, however, these boons I feel are definitely a little bit better than the previous few mods for that matter. We did have a power boon coming out of Mod 12. The Mod 13 boons, they just gave you 3 more options to take in Schultz. So we'll see if they keep with the same pattern in Mod 15, if you're going to be taking 3 more points in the same campaign, if it's going to be a campaign extension. We're just going to have to wait and see. Now moving right along, I'd like to talk about the mounts. Let's go ahead and jump right into the mounts that everyone wants to see, of course. I was lucky enough to get 2 of them. So the epic one is called the Mist Form. The equip power is 2000 Lifesteal Severity, and it has a Crescent, Barbed, and Universal. We're going to go ahead and equip this, and then we're going to put it on for you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look here and see what we have. So it's literally you turn into a ghost almost. It's definitely probably one of my favorite mounts, undoubtedly. I really enjoy this mist. It like turns you into, it looks like some kind of ghost figure. You definitely have like arms, a torso, a head, and then once you start moving, you're just a big smoke screen. I really like this. I think they did a really good job with this, and this is only the epic version, so yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of that for sure. And then the legendary version, which I'm assuming is going to be coming out of the next lockbox, undoubtedly going to be best in slot, most likely. It's called Swarm. I know a lot of you guys have seen this, but for whoever hasn't, summon a swarm of bats, which will release you from most control effects. So if you're CC'd in PvP, you pop this, you'll get released. And it also grants you 10% bonus to damage. Your target will be slowed by 10%. Your target will also take 10% more damage. And your target will also cause 10% less damage. Also have their critical chance reduced by 10%. And also their action points reduced by 10%. So it's definitely good for PvP, and it's definitely good for PvE. The PvE aspect is that you're going to buff yourself as well as debuff the boss. The PvP aspect is you're going to, you know, buff yourself, debuff the enemy, and, you know, take some of their action point as well as their crit. You're going to cause them to do less damage. There's a lot of beneficial effects coming from this one single mount. Now, as this video is getting posted, they have already nerfed it. So the picture you're seeing, keep in mind, you know, we are on the preview server. Everything is subject to change. This mount was already nerfed. I believe that it's only going to do 5% damage for you. So your Tensor's Disc, for instance, gives you a 10% damage bonus increase. The Swarm originally was giving 10% as well. I believe they scaled that back to only be 5%, which is still going to be best in slot. You're going to gain 5% DPS for yourself, but you're also going to debuff the enemy, sort of like the T-Rex is right now. So this is like a Tensor's Disc plus a T-Rex built into one. So everything is subject to change. We will have to wait and see what exactly happens with this and what the final outcome is. The equip power is 4,000 lifesteal severity, and then it has an illuminated and double universal slots. We're going to equip this as well. And I believe this is also probably one of my favorite looking mounts in the game. Let's see here. So we have the Swarm. Let's go ahead and summon this. And there you go, guys. You literally become a floating swarm of bats. And that's just awesome. It really is. I mean, I love it. You know, there's no words. It's about time that I'm finally impressed by something. So it even had a pretty cool effect as you summon it as well. Look at that. You know, they did a really good job with this. Between this legendary mount and the epic version of it, I'm very impressed with these two mounts. This is something that I would spend a lot of my AD on, not only because it's best in slot, but just for the sheer fact of how badass I feel it looks. Maybe you're not impressed by it, but I definitely like it. Now there is going to be one more mount coming from Mod 14, so let's go ahead and jump into the collection tabs and scroll on over here, and we're going to have the Decaying Stag. Now this is going to be a special promotion mount, so we're not exactly sure what promotion this is going to be or how you're going to get this. It's 4,000 hit points and 1,000 life steal. And it's basically a decaying stag. It looks like an undead stag. I definitely like this mount as well. You guys know I play a Warlock for a reason. I'm into that, you know, kind of gameplay and things. You know, I like Warlocks, I like Necromancers, I like undead things. So, the Undead Stag, I am definitely going to get this. I don't know what the promotion is. They could charge me 10 grand and I'd buy it, you know. No, really, though, seriously. I'm sure it's going to be locked behind some kind of paid promotion, which I will most likely partake in just to get this mount skin. I believe they did a very good job with this as well. I mean, it's nothing too special, but it does look awesome. So, now there is one more mount that I do want to show you guys, and that is going to be the Suratux Till Crag Cat. Now, my assumption is that this is going to be coming from Summer Festival this year. Last year they gave us the Suratux Till Spider, so I'm just going to safely assume that this is going to be the summer promotion mount, but we'll just have to wait and see. It is in the preview database, so we're going to have to wait and see exactly where it's going to come from. If I was a betting man, I would definitely bet that this would be coming from the summer festival. It could be coming with the Jubilee. The Jubilee is coming up very soon as well. So either the Decaying Stag or this mount in particular. The Jubilee's coming up. We have Summer Festival coming up. We're just going to have to wait and see. Now, along the same lines as mounts, I want to jump into the Masquerade of Liars. Now, the Halloween event, of course, is a little ways down the road. That's several months down the road. However, the preview database was updated, and they are adding some things to the Masquerade of Liars event, which is the Neverwinter Halloween event. We're going to get an enchanted broom, which is going to be 2,000 power, and it's basically a broom. It's a flying broom that you're going to be able to fly around. I actually like it. I mean, no matter how silly it is, it's a flying broom. Who doesn't want to pretend to be a witch and, you know, or a warlock, for instance, you know, the male version of a witch. Who doesn't want to just fly around on a fucking broomstick, you know? Just straight up gangsta. You know what I'm saying? And now there is also a companion, which is going to be in the Halloween event as well. Now this, like I said, we are on preview. I highly doubt these statistics are going to go with the launch. This has 500% deflect on it and 1% crit severity. Highly unlikely that 500% deflect is actually gonna be the end game statistics on this. So it is just a broom mount. It has offense, 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 and the descriptions on some of the skills are very vague. So if you want to pause the video and read them, especially swept off their feet as well as clean slate, you know, we'll have to wait and see how much this companion actually does change. Now, while we're on companions, we will go ahead and move right into companions. Just right off the bat, the Visitanti Wanderer is going to be the Zen Market one for Mod 14. It increases the drop of Bavarian coins, omens, and gold by 10%. So just like the Shulton Hunter in Mod 12 and the Shulton Tiger in Mod 13, this is the next one, a part of the list, which is the Visitanti Wanderer. So nothing really impressive here other than the fact that you're going to gain more campaign currency quicker. It's defense, defense, offense, so nothing spectacular really coming from this. Now there is another Mod 14 companion, and it looks like this is going to be coming out of the lockbox as well. Now it's called Razorwood, and again, I don't know if these statistics are final or what the deal is, but currently on preview, it has 100% combat advantage and 2.5% crit severity. Now, I want to kind of explain this because not a lot of people even know how combat advantage works in the first place. But combat advantage means you have to position yourself appropriately. So if the tank is facing the boss, you want to stand to the left of the right and behind where the tank is to get combat advantage. You can see this on the ground. Usually the ring will turn either red or blue to indicate that you have combat advantage. However, like I mentioned earlier in the video, combat advantage has been broke off and on now for a while. Now, what this says with this companion, 100% combat advantage. That tells me that it doesn't matter where you stand. You're going to have combat advantage 100% of the time, no matter of your positioning. So even if you're face tanking the boss yourself, I'm thinking then you're still going to have combat advantage and you're still going to get all your combat advantage bonuses. That's a lot. That's a big deal. This is a very important companion. It's almost best in slot, almost for everyone at this point. DPS Guardian fighters who are tanking most of the time, they're going to get 100% combat advantage while standing in front of the boss. I mean, I don't even know how combat advantage works for Guardian fighters. Maybe they already do have frontal combat advantage since they're tanks. I'm not sure. I don't play a Guardian fighter. But as a Warlock, when I'm standing behind the boss on the left or right side and I'm getting my combat advantage bonus, for me personally now, that doesn't matter. I'll be able to shadow slip anywhere and still gain all my combat advantage bonuses. That's what that tells me, is what 100% combat advantage means. Leave me a comment below, guys. Let me know your feelings on this. Or maybe you have a better explanation for this. Like I said, preview server, nothing is 100% in stone until it actually launches. And then, you know, on top of the 100% combat advantage, it's 2.5 crit severity as well. You can't go wrong there. It is a triple offensive slot, and it uses Ring Neck. Now, the only downfall of this is that it doesn't have a debuff, so you're still going to be using your Shulton Tiger as your Summoned, or your Con Artist, or your Sellsword, or your Rebel Mercenary. That's the only downfall. But as far as an active companion goes, yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, that's pretty beastly. So we're gonna have to wait and see what actually makes what happens of this. So that's the companions. I think I did miss something in the Halloween event. We talked about the broom and the companion out there, but I forgot to mention that there's another artifact coming as well. Right now it's listed as the Empowered Illusionist Masks, so we'll go ahead and look at that very quickly. Scroll over here to the Illusionist Mask. So the old Illusionist Mask, you were only able to level it up to Legendary. However, the new Illusionist Mask, which I'm sure they might change the name, right now it's just Empowered Illusionist Mask. It doesn't have an active use yet. You can see this attribute mod is lacking an auto description override. That's just general coding, so there isn't an actual use effect on this yet. You know, Halloween is several months down the road. And then the powers on it are going to be 1,000 power, 1,000 recovery, and 600 action point gain. So it's actually a very good artifact to keep in your back pocket for the power, recovery, and action point gain. One final thing that I do want to mention, we'll jump into the events, and we go all the way over to the Jubilee, which is going to be coming up fairly soon. There is another throne, which I believe they tweeted out a picture of it, and it is the Throne of Celebration. So there is another throne coming out. I think we covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. We did the boons, we did the mounts, we did the companions, we did some of the event stuff. If you guys have any comments below, be sure to let me know. I don't know if there will be any more preview videos. It all depends on if they release any more stuff, or if they change anything significantly, then we'll go ahead and make another video. But as always, I am Garland. Thank you for watching. Be sure to leave me a comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.